So welcome everyone. I'm glad you're all here. And today, if you got the email, the theme is around loving ourselves. I thought that'd be a nice one because we've got Valentine's Day coming up on Tuesday, and what's more important is to make yourself your own Valentine. So I thought that would be a nice one to do. So, okay, we'll get started. If anyone joins a little bit later, we'll add them in, but I'll just start to share the screen, and do please let me know if you can see it at all. Got two people in the waiting room. I'll admit them in, so just give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Yeah, okay, great. Wonderful, fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Loving those thumbs up. Let me see so many faces as well. So welcome to Tap Into Your Magic. This is the February edition. So this is a monthly event that I do here on Zoom. And last time it was the early January. And before that, we did it every week, but I thought it's better to do it monthly because I know we have busy schedules. So just a bit of house rules, mute just because when we're doing the tapping out loud, it can be an echo effect. At the end, feel free to unmute to ask any questions, but just for the time being. Also, please make sure to hydrate. I wrote in the email as well that EFT is very similar to acupressure without the needles. So it's like having a mini massage. So it's important to make sure you're hydrating. Plus, we'll be talking out loud during the tapping section of this event. So please make sure to get hydrated and also have a journal or something to write with. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. It can just be a piece of paper, just because we've got a few questions. I like to have a little bit of journaling, and then we finish with like a 10-minute tapping session. I've got lots of people joining in the waiting room. There we go. We'll add them in. So the intention for this month is loving your authentic self. If you just join, I mentioned we've got Valentine's Day coming up in a couple of days, and I feel like February for me is like a month about love. And what's most important is if we can love ourselves, that for me is everything. You can't love anyone enough. Like no love that anyone can give you. I've got a lot of people joining, is more than what you can give yourself. You can fill your own cup, you're able to give that love to others, and especially not just loving yourself with rules and restrictions, just loving yourself as you are right now in this moment, whether you've achieved what you wanted to do or anything, just loving who you are is enough. So welcome everyone. If you're just joining, we're just getting with the intention. So hopefully you've got your water and a journal. And a little bit about me, because I know a lot of you have met me before, so hello. But if not, so I'm Heather. I'm a certified and insured EFT practitioner, so you're in good hands. I'm also a certified coach with the Association for Coaching. I'm also a presenter and actor in the creative and entertainment industry in the UK. And I like to give a fun fact, a different one, every month. So I've been on a book cover, so I just thought I'd show you that. This isn't very authentic. This is what I'm saying. They made me blonde on this book cover. Billy's London Girls. I found it in a shop one day. I was like, oh, they used that photo. So I thought that was something fun to share with you all. Have you done EFT before? I'd love to know. Just put a yes and no in the chat. Yeah, sure, Amanda. I will be sending the replay as well, so you can get those as well. Yes, Gil. Okay, great. So if you haven't, don't worry, we'll be going, I'll show you all the tapping points as well. Yep, with me, awesome. So if you haven't done it before, honestly, it's super simple to do, but we'll get to that in the last 15 minutes of this event. We'll do some journaling first. Yes, okay, great. So, oh, nice, Jasmine. Oh, it's good to have you back. Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful. Seems like we've all done a little bit of tapping before. So, great. I also have as well, that's why I'm here, an authentic self. I don't know if anyone's heard of Brené Brown. You can put a yes in the chat if you have. She's quite a famous self-help author. She really talks about vulnerability and authenticity. She has a big documentary thing, yeah, on Netflix. And one thing I really love about her is not just her writing, but also her work. And I really love this quote that I found online. It says, to be authentic, we must cultivate the courage to be imperfect and vulnerable. We have to believe that we are fundamentally worthy of love and acceptance just as we are. And I thought that was a really nice way to start. And I really love her work. So if you are looking for something new to read, I do recommend Brené Brown. And let's move on to the next slide. So what does authenticity mean to you? I'd love to know your definition, and write it in the chat. Yes, so not being afraid to sometimes be, yeah, fantastic. I'm glad you could all see them now. All right, being real. Oh, great, awesome. I'm glad. Thank you for letting me know. Honestly, let me know if you can't see anything, because to me, I see it as it is. But if you can't, just, yeah, don't be afraid. So yeah, I love all these answers. So thank you for sharing, everyone. And we're going to do some journaling now. Just to kind of, I believe when we journal, we can really get into a space where we're connected with ourselves. And everything you write, by the way, is completely private. You don't have to share anything at all. This is just for you to have a space for you to probably had a busy week, and now you have that time to write. And everything is going to be themed around authenticity. Just think we need a little mute. There we go. All right, so let's begin, and we'll have about maybe like 2 to 3 minutes on each one. We don't have to spend so long writing. Sometimes the first answer is usually the most authentic answer. And like I said, everything you write is yours, it's private. So the first journal prompt is, how are you not being your authentic self in your life right now? So you can think about, it could be at work or with certain friends that you might have outgrown, or maybe in your community, ways that you feel like you have to put on a mask and play pretend or please others, and just see what comes up. If you feel like you're completely your authentic self, right, that's like, you know what, I'm every area, fantastic. But if not, just think about maybe a space or a place in your life where you feel like you're having to put on a certain mask. And don't judge yourself. It's just good to be self-aware. And let's have a look at the time. Yeah, about a couple of minutes on this. And if you've got any questions about it, please do pop it in the chat. Yeah, in your job, yeah. I find that sometimes around certain people, I just try to be really, really like smiley and look at them and please them. But actually, sometimes I just want to go, hey, I just want to go home. I'm tired. For me, I'm going to write sometimes around certain people. But yeah, enjoy the journaling and don't be afraid to whatever comes out. And I'm journaling with you as well, so that's why I'll be silent for 2 minutes too. So hopefully you've got something written down, and if nothing came up, then at least you know that, hey, actually you've worked a lot on your authenticity. But if you have come up with something, great, well, we'll tap on that anyway. I certainly came up with a few things. Yes, Jasmina, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, your boundaries and respect for others, your own physical, emotional safety. Yeah, exactly. Don't walk backwards greeting dogs and then walk with owners. Yeah, boundaries is a very important thing when it comes to with authenticity as well. And we are going to tap on that as well. And this question, actually, this journal prompt is really going to help you with that. So what are your strengths and values? Because when we know what our strengths are, we can focus on what we're good at. We're not trying to then work on everything we're not good at just to keep up with somebody or compare ourselves. And when we really know what our values are, then that means that whoever we meet, we can kind of gauge whether they have the same values as us. And if they do, it's like, great, this is somebody who I'd like to connect with further. If not, you're able to understand that, hey, I don't have to pretend that I agree with this, because a lot of the times we're just agreeing to please somebody. But it's really important to know what your values are. So we'll have about 2.5 minutes on this. You could write strengths in one section, values in the other, and just see what you write. And it's good to remind yourself of those things. And if you just want to finish whatever sentence that you're on, maybe you've got what I have, like 2 different sections. And it's just good to remind yourself of those things, especially when you feel like you're going off-piste with your authenticity. Okay, and then we have just one more journal prompt before we dive into the tapping, which is, what do you love and value about yourself? Sometimes we forget to give ourselves that self-love, and there's a little picture of Cupid there, and the arrow is going to you because, like I said, you can be your own Valentine. Send yourself that love, treat yourself with kindness, and let's just go for about 2 minutes writing everything that you love and value about yourself. If you just want to finish the sentence that you're currently on, and maybe just take a look at what you've written and just remind yourself of those things that you truly love and value about yourself. And I really hope those things aren't things that are based on something external, like, because I think when we just focus on our true self, our true essence, our personality, our values, those are things that we carry with us for the rest of our life, and they're not based on any external factors. So yeah, you are your own Valentine. Cupid is shooting the arrow at you. So we're going to move on to the EFT tapping now. And I'd just like to throw this question out there, if you feel like answering it, is how does it feel when you aren't your authentic self? So it's another way of framing this could be, how does it feel when you can go against your values? I find when you're not authentic, the reason why it feels the way it feels, which you probably explain, like maybe it feels uncomfortable, is because you're going against what you don't believe in to do something for somebody else. So how does it feel for you when you aren't your authentic self? And you can pop it in the chat, and then we can do some tapping on that as well. Your body feels stressed, yeah. Feel frustrated and stuck. It's a fast path to resentment, yeah. Feel lonely. Yeah, because you can be in a room full of people, right? And I've done that before. And then you're not you, and you're just trying to make everyone else kind of happy, ask so many questions, but then you feel very exhausted after, and you just wish you would just, I don't know, being yourself, even if it means being alone, because sometimes those are some fears that come up. The reason why we don't want to be ourselves is because we're afraid of what that other person might think. We might get judged or misunderstood. Yeah, so thank you for sharing, everyone. I will just close this thing down, so hopefully you can see me now. And thank you for sharing. So we'll do some tapping on what has just been written, plus some other things, and then we'll do the full EFT tapping. I think everyone said they've done tapping before, but we're going to get started with the karate chop point. So let's just take a deep breath in together. And exhale. Just allow yourself the gift of this present moment. And if you had your eyes closed, you can just connect in. Taking a deep breath in again and exhale. And if you're sat down, you can have your feet on the ground, or maybe you want to sit on the floor. It's up to you, where you feel comfortable tapping. And we'll begin at the karate chop point. If you've never done it before, it's just the side of the hand where, if you did watch a kung fu movie, if someone was chopping a block, the contact point would be that. I mean, that must be a very strong point, actually, if you can hit a block with that. But anyway, so all you need to do is repeat after me out loud, or if you're not in a space to repeat out loud, you can say it in your head, it's okay. And just take what resonates and leave the rest. Even though sometimes it doesn't feel safe to be my authentic self. It feels like I have to wear a mask. Or I have to pretend to please everybody else. I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and forgive myself. Even though sometimes my body feels stressed, when I'm not being my authentic self. I can feel frustrated and stuck. It's a fast path to resentment. Or perhaps I can feel really lonely and misunderstood. Because I can be in a room full of strangers and still feel alone if I'm not being myself. And I know I do this to keep myself safe. Because sometimes it's easier to pretend than to disagree with someone. It's easier to make someone else happy at the detriment of my own happiness. Because sometimes I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to hurt or upset anyone. But the only person I hurt is myself. And I don't want to do that to myself anymore. Because I am enough. And I am good enough just as I am. So even though sometimes I feel it's hard to be my authentic self, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And let me know how that felt for you. Did you get any tingles? Did you yawn all the way through that? I would love to know before we move on. Hey. So I think my Zoom has frozen. Hopefully it catches up. There we go. There we go. Now I'm back. Tingles, vibrating. Good. I'm glad. Right. Wonderful. Vibrating. Yeah, I got lots of tingles then. That was quite intense. So if you yawned all the way through that, that's a good sign as well. Or if you feel a bit more energized or tired, that is just the energy moving around with EFT. So we're going to get started with the 8 tapping points now. We're really going to be tapping on it's safe to be our authentic self, which is the theme of today and our intention as we tap together. So I think everyone's tapped before, but if not, I'll just quickly show you the 8 tapping points that I do. It might be different from what you've learned. So we've got the start of the eyebrow, and then the side of the eye, under the nose, the chin, the collarbone, under the armpit, and then the top of the head. So those are the 8 tapping points that I do. If you do a different one, you feel free to do your own. If you want to copy along with the 8 tapping points, you can as well. So let's begin tapping at the eyebrow point. And again, just repeat after me and let's tap in. It's safe to be our authentic self. It is safe to be my authentic self. It is safe to be me. Because when I can be myself, it feels freeing. It feels wonderful. And I'm so grateful for those in my life who I can be my authentic self around. And I'm releasing any limiting beliefs or fears that tell me that it's not safe to be myself. Whether this is something that happened in the past, where I decided to be completely myself and then I got rejected. Or people laughed at me, or I got judged. So I'm releasing that fear now. I'm releasing the fear of being judged. I'm releasing the fear of being abandoned or misunderstood. Because being unique is a strength. I was created perfect just as I am. With all my quirks and weirdness. And I'm happy to be me. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of all that I've gone through and survived. And maybe I found a little humor along the way as well. So today, I'm making the choice to love me just as me. I'm loving the inner child inside of me. I love all the interests I have. And I choose to follow my joy. I don't need to wear a mask anymore. Because if someone doesn't like me, so what? There are 8 billion people on this planet, and I'm sure one of them will like me. And I know this comes from my human brain that evolved thousands of years ago. Because if you didn't follow everyone else, you got kicked out from the tribe. And then you will most likely die. But that's fine. We're in a different century now. So I know it's safe to be me. And when I can be myself around others, I attract people who actually like me for me. I can build true, authentic, genuine connections. And I can inspire other people to be themselves as well. So if I haven't told myself this lately, I remind myself now. I love you. I love you for all that you are. And my uniqueness is my greatest strength. I value myself. I respect myself. And I let go of judging myself. Or worrying that I'm not enough, because I absolutely am. So for this month and moving forward, I choose to be my authentic self. Even if it's difficult, I push forward. And each time it gets easier and easier to be me. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale out your mouth. Just notice how you're feeling. Did anyone get any tingles, or did any words stand out for you? I'd love to know how that experience was for you. Or maybe one certain point was very strong for you. Felt empowered. Awesome. I love that. Great. Amazing. Just calming peacefulness. Yes. I'm glad you're feeling peaceful. Yeah, that's my aim, whether you want to take a nap after this or you feel more energized. But really empowering ourselves is super, super important. So thanks for sharing. As well. Oh, Julia, I'm very glad. Awesome. I'm really glad this helped, and reminding yourselves of those powerful words. Body feels like energy circulating better. Yeah, emotional freedom technique. It's moving the chi through your body. So especially if you feel something unblocked, like I mean, like I mentioned in the beginning, I do have a cold, but I feel like for the first time I haven't blown into a tissue. I feel like tapping has removed it. Jasmine, you're so welcome. Thank you so much. And I'd like to mention as well, if you need to head off, please do. But I do have a ritual happening this Friday, which will have EFT journaling, Reiki, getting into the Akashic records, which is a beautiful meditation and time techniques. It's with myself, Emily, and Mallory. So it's happening at 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. PST. But if you saw my email, I mentioned that there's going to be a very special offer. So we are offering at the moment 50% off that ritual, because we discussed, you know, it's getting harder the times, we know. So we have got a 50% off code. The coupon code is New Moon. It's in capitals, and you just type that in, you get 50% off the tickets. And if you get the VIP bonus, I released a new course which comes with 8 tapping videos, meditations, and journaling, just kind of like what we've done here, but it's based on the moon cycle. So you learn about the 8 moon phases, and you get that free as well with the VIP, which is the 50% off, which you can get for both. So I'll just pop it in the chat, the link to that event, if you would like to check it out.